Hi, everybody. I hope you don't mind. I'm not trying to look awesome. These are prescription sunglasses. I was out at recess, and then I was like mid-basketball game. I was like, I gotta go. And then I ran out like, I forgot my glasses. I can't shoot. So, really quickly, if you don't mind, I actually want to correct some of the things that were in my bio. This is my third year here, and actually, I see Zach. Hang on. There I was last year. I had to jump really high to get a chest bump with my guy over here. But, you know, I may be half Korean, but I can jump. I got hops. In my bio, it mentioned that I'm in my 10th year teaching. I'm actually in my 12th year teaching. That was from the first time that I had the pleasure of speaking there. I did represent the Asian community on the advisory committee for the State Board of Education, dealing with equity, but that, I'll tell you right now, that advisory committee is gone. They just sunsetted it and ended it. There's no longer a committee advising our state school board on issues related to equity, inclusion, diversity, these things, and yet the work continues, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. Just for anybody who's not familiar with this Metal Art collaborative with UCLI, from 10:30 to 11:30 every Friday, lawyers zoom into my classroom and they mentor my students on their writing. And it's not just lawyers, there's also law students. Real quick, if you don't mind, I'm going to embarrass you. If anybody's ever volunteered in my classroom, would you please rise right now so that you can be recognized and given a round of applause? There's so many more. Handing it up on the kickball court in a second. If you ever want to reach out to me, if you're ever interested in doing this, you can reach out to Caitlin with UCLI, but my email is there at the bottom, teachersdo@gmail.com, because we do. And I'll tell you, even though this is what our school looks like, I've only been able to get the UCLI mentors out to our building a couple of times over the last 5 years. It started during the pandemic, and it was a response to this need. Melina's not here, is she? Melinda's there, but Melina's not, right? Melina, my friend, had this idea of partnering up, and then Melinda Bowen picked up that baton and really helped us get this thing going. John really cemented this and helped gather people onto our roster. And it's the most beautiful thing you ever saw in your life. My students, mentioned 16% of the state is Latino. 65% of my students are Latino. You'll get a chance to see some of my students. But UCLI understands that if you want to diversify the legal profession, you can't plant trees, you got to plant seeds. And every one of my children is a seed. And I'm going to give you just a little taste of what the planting was.
Hey everyone, I'm so proud of you all. What a cool opportunity.
Public speaking is very hard. For me, it's very hard. When I was your age, I was very shy.
You guys motivated me to do this one. So here we go.
Here's my try at this. Be kind and patient with me. I speak not for myself, but for all the boys and girls.
I raise up my voice, not so I can shout,
But so that those without a voice can be heard.
Dear brothers and sisters,
we must not forget that millions of people are suffering from poverty, injustice, and ignorance.
We must not forget millions of children are out of schools.
We must not forget that our sisters and brothers are waiting for a bright future.
So let us wage a global struggle against illiteracy, poverty, and terrorism.
Let's pick up our books and pens.
There are our most powerful weapons.
one child,
One pen and one book can change the world.
Education is the only solution.
Education first.
education first.
Education first.
Education first.
Thank you.
Thanks guys, have a good weekend.
Thank you so much. This has been awesome.
I hope you guys have a good weekend. Good seeing you, even if it's through video. Thank you, Captain. You guys are awesome.
Give those folks all around the applause. You heard about the funny captain, that's what my students call me, I won't tell you why. And the other one, my students sometimes will be like, you know, they're working hard, and I'll hear a student working with Melinda or anybody else, Jasmine, and I'll be like, do you guys realize how lucky you are? Like, do you know the power of the people that you are here in the Zoom room with? But they don't. They see them purely as just people. The most beautiful thing that UCLI has been able to do for my students is they have humanized lawyers and judges for my students. They've made it possible for my kids to see themselves as such. And just as an example of this, they've humbled themselves on the kickball court. Sometimes if you volunteer in this program, you can come play kickball with my students. You can come work with us, hang out. There's John, he's passing out all this amazing UCLI swag. Here's a little taste of what that is. Let's see what's in here. Oh, thank you, babe.
These are gonna be problems.
No, that'll be great, that'll be great. For our mentors.
Ever thought about, like, have you ever seen these shows with lawyers or attorneys? They can do cool things that they can really help people. So, if any of you have dreams of being an attorney someday, you can get involved in a program and learn more about the profession.
Like, why did my husband stop running? What's he doing? He's sick. Oh, very good, very good, very good. Oh, you gotta do it again. Listen. Something else. Cold blood. Oh, he's teasing the kid. They learned that from Jason. Yeah, so you know, they didn't do that from so. That's bullying! You're bullying children! Now, I see, did the donut holes make it on the table? Or did they? Just so y'all know, there's this thing in my class that started a couple years ago, and then my students who are older would tell my younger students, I don't think I've ever mentioned this to the mentors. Sometimes my students will refer to the mentors as the donut holes. And it's because of this logo that UCLI has. and it kind of looks like a donut. And I'll sometimes bring in donut holes into the classroom. And when they started doing like donut holes, are kind of like, what? What'd you guys say? Like, yeah, donut holes. I said, why do you call them donut holes? And you know, they had like, John handed out those like foam stress balls that became snowballs in my classroom, and they all have the logo on it. And they're like, I'm like, is it because of the logo? Like, well, yeah, but like, you know, like the donut hole is the part that's missing, and the lawyers keep telling us that we're missing from what they do. So it's not like they're just the donut holes. We're all the donut holes. We're filling in the gaps. I was like, that's an incredibly profound thing. I've never heard you speak like this before, but it was beautiful. And that's why you guys have donut holes at your table, because right now by supporting UCLI, you're supporting the donut holes. You're supporting this effort to fill in the gaps. I'm going to, just for the sake of time, skip over, I'll show you just the first few sections of this. It's not just like argumentative essays and stuff that the mentors will help my students write. This is a screenplay that the young woman who you saw in the first video, talking about how the mentors help her, she wrote this romantic comedy that takes place in an elementary school. I'll just play the beginning and see what it takes.
Did you hear that Brian and Karen broke up? Relationships don't last.
if you want to know what happens next, you gotta go to YouTube. You gotta like and subscribe. 9 Evermore, the number 9, TH Evermore. That's my class's channel. That romantic comedy is there waiting for you. So that's the kind of stuff, even playful, fun stuff like that has been made possible by these mentors, by these folks who just give up their time on Fridays. Like my young student there said in the first video, before this year, she didn't feel like she could write a paragraph. Now she can write a whole essay, she can write a screenplay. This is now a finalist in the Tumbleweeds Film Festival, and she's being recognized as this brilliant young lady. And before she was recognized for all these other labels that one would not want placed upon you. And now she's known as an artist and as a writer. And that is very much in part because of the program that we're all here to support today. The last thing I'm going to share with you is just very quickly, this happened last year, but it was a little too raw for me to talk about at last year's luncheon. This is my boy Raymond. I actually had his big brother Carlos my second year of teaching. This is Raymond when he was in second grade. He made these t-shirts, and he was kind of our mascot at school. It says, dream big, work hard, never give up. There's a lot of kids at our school who come from these beautifully diverse, culturally rich families, and they're looking at the future for very different reasons from even when I grew up as a young Korean kid in Utah. Their lens is different, especially now in this moment as we talk about the words that you can't say. This is the first year where I've had to teach students how to give their parents these cards that they can then give to the authorities if they're ever pulled over or caught up in an accident. I've never had to think about what the policies are in my school district if immigration shows up looking for a child in my classroom. I just never had to do that. My friends who are volunteers in the classroom, we've got an email chain going right now because we're trying to facilitate a conversation where a young lady in my class who told her mentor this last week, my parents want me to be a lawyer, and my mom wanted me to be a lawyer because she's an immigrant, and she wanted me to make money. But my student, her mom said that she wants her to be a lawyer so that she can represent her family if they're ever detained. I don't know if that's why any of you became lawyers. It may be. But I feel like this is the next chapter of this broader story, not just in our country, but in your profession, in my profession. And these kids who are coming up, they have skills that we did not, they have tools that we did not. And yet their journeys and the way that ours intersect with them can be a little bit unique. This young man last year ended up with cancer. He was on home hospital, he was terminal. And this picture was actually taken at an event where his family was being connected with additional resources, money, because of this program, because of the friendships and the relationships that we've developed. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to say Jasmine Hawk over here is the one who connected me with this foundation through her family, and they connected my boy's family with desperately needed resources. And that's the thing that they've been doing for the last 5 years, connecting my children with desperately needed resources. Raymond unfortunately passed away last year. Before he did, I would go to his house every week from the start of the school year and work with him one-on-one because he was not well enough to come to school. But the one time he was able to join his classmates, and he was only able to do it twice, was through this program. He would Zoom in from his living room. And he met with a mentor, but then the kids were like, Raymond, what's up? It's good to see you. And it gave everybody joy. And before he passed, he created things in his living room with me. And one of those things is a poem where he talks about how powerful he is, more intelligent, more brilliant than a sneaky lion, as intelligent as Einstein, as brave as can be. But then this right here is I don't know if this is a laser, but over there is a heart map where you get to put your favorite people, places, memories, hobbies. And I was sitting next to him on the couch. He was incredibly weak, and he said, hey, Captain, see, I put you in my heart. And I looked over, I was like, oh, yeah, man, yeah. He's like, you see where I put you? I was like, yeah, right there. And he said, you know why I put you there? I said, why, man? He said, because I love you from the bottom of my heart. I know, right? I'm not trying to make anybody cry. I apologize if I did. But I wanted to share this because, again, you never know the impact that you're going to have in the life of someone else's child, and the best way to do it is to just give up your time and do whatever you can to awaken them to their own brilliance, give them platforms for amplifying and sharing their work out with the world, and that is exactly what UCLI has done for me and my kids. So from the bottom of my heart, I just want to take this opportunity to all of you who stood up earlier and everybody who's in this room supporting this organization, just thank you.